Hi. In this work, we present an integrated study comprising a ground-penetrating radar geophysical survey integrated with UAVs aerial photography applied to the study of Chã da Mourisca Neolithic mound located in the northeast of Portugal. The northeast of Portugal is a mountainous region with increasing inland heights from the coast to the interior, cut by several rivers that run from northeast to southeast. Hundreds of funerary megalithic mounds are known in this area, distributed from the valleys to the high-altitude plateaus, dating back from the Middle Later Neolithic between the end of the 5th to the end of the 4th millennia BCE. Here in this image you can see the distribution of some of the megalithic monuments located in the northeast of this region. You can see high density distribution in some areas, particularly in mountainous areas. And here we have some images of two of those monuments, one from the interior near the border with Spain, and in the mountainous region of Soajo, and other in the coastal area in the municipality of Esposende, here near the sea. It is an heritage, this kind of monuments are an heritage with high archaeological importance that is not fully inventoried and therefore susceptible of destruction due to the forest advances, constructions, or enlargements of roads networks in rural and urban contexts. Systematic excavation of this type of monuments is time-consuming, and its conservation or later valorization for didactic and tourist purposes becomes a very difficult task. Thus, it is necessary to use non-invasive methodologies that can contribute to the study, preservation, and valorization of these megalithic mounds. So, some of the objective of this work was to study the Chã da Mourisca mound internal structure through the use of non-invasive technologies like GPR and UAVs in order to obtain relevant information about the monument architecture, which can be used scientifically and or integrated into tourist didactic projects. Here in the background image you can see the one picture from the Chã da Mourisca mound, the target of our study. Chã da Mourisca mound is located in the Council of Ponta Lima, district of Viana do Castelo, in the northwest of Portugal, here in the location in the north of this map, and is located in a hill named Serra do Corno do Bico, some about 10 kilometers from the center of the municipality, and the mound is located in the mountain pass near a mountain trail, and nearby there were located several other mounds and megalithic monuments like that are marked here in the image. Here this UAV photography shows some of the mounds that were identified in this area. Here we can see some other pictures from the Chã da Mourisca site. The site is being studied in the scope of the project entitled Paisagens Mortuárias durante a Pré-História Recente nas Bacias Hidrográficas dos Rios Lima e Neiva, and the PhD project Paisagens Mortuárias durante a Pré-História Recente das Bacias Hidrográficas dos Rios Lima e Neiva, Noroeste de Portugal, developed by one of the authors of this communication. The monument has a circular shape, like you can see here in the photography. It's about 1.5 meters high and an approximate length of 15.4 meters in the north-south direction and 15 meters in the east-west direction. However, it should be noted that at the eastern limit, the mound seems to have been partially mutilated by the construction of a small pathway. From a superficial observation, the mound seems to have a lithic armor. It's visible a central violation ditch that you can see here in this depression, where no rock structures are observed. On southeast side, there are two buried rocks that could belong to a corridor. You can see them here in this photograph in the left, which would not be surprising given their orientation, that they are located in the southeast area of the mound. In the vicinity of the monument, about 50 meters south, an Acropolis was discovered with flat Bronze Age graves, marked by vertical stone blocks, as well as open pits on the rock substrate and a semicircular structure still in the excavation process that we can see here. The chronology for this ditch is not clear, but it's possibly from the Bronze Age or even from the Neolithic period. This data reveals a long-term occupation of this site, and it is vitally important to understand the intensity and distribution area of these occupations, which seems to have the megalithic monument as their epicenter. As said, the objective of this work was to use non-invasive technology, such as GPR and UAV, to study the mound internal structure in order to obtain relevant information about the monument architecture. Photogrammetry by UAV enabled the accurate mapping of the excavation area with the production of high-resolution RGB orthomosaics and DSMs. Here we can see a digital model from the mound area. You can see here the Chã da Mourisca mound and the flat graves from the necropolis of the Bronze Age located to the south. This information can be combined with results from future surveys through the several stages of the excavation work to analyze the area using vertical imagery slices. Photogrammetry will allow the 3D modeling of monuments and surrounding areas, that giving them volume and greater visibility. This information can be used to 3D printing of mock-ups, as well as production of high-quality interactive 3D models for multimedia purposes. It is also important to say that this information allow us to obtain high-resolution topographic data from the site that was useful for the topographic correction of GPR data, which enable a more precise and correct interpretation of the data. In these studies, GPR surveys were conducted over the mound, with parallel profiles acquired over a grid with 25 centimeters of separation between profiles. The equipment used was the SIR 3000 from GSSI with a 400 MHz antenna. The data obtained with GPR prospection was processed using ReflexW from Sandmeyer, and this data enabled the definition of the mound stratigraphy after interpretation, and enable us to map important reflections that, integrated with the archaeological and UAV data, is important to help comprehend some constructive aspects of the mound. Here you can see in this background image part of the surveying process with the GSSI equipment, and here we can see some of the data. Here in this GPR profile, you can see some important reflections registered in this profile. Here we can see some reflections that were acquired in the southeast area of the mound, and that suggest the presence of the possible corridor. Here you can see some reflections that may signal the pillars from the corridor, and this top reflection, a reflection from probably a casing block on top of the corridor. Some other interpretations after topographic correction could be made in the central area of the mount. Here we can see one interpretation of the stratigraphy of the site. Here we signal the disturbed area of the site, the area that was violated, probably for in the 19th century or before that. Lots of monuments were violated in order to seek for some treasure. And sometimes also for the stones that could be used for as building materials. And here the reflections seems to notice the limit between the granite overburden and the structure, the earth structure of the mount, and here a possible chamber and the disturbed area by the violation. We also noted some reflections that could be associated to a lithic ring that is that could encircle all the monument. Concluding, the data enabled the definition of the monument stratigraphy, its degree of perturbation, and was important to detect and map the location of the funeral chamber and the presence of a stone corridor and its geometry. The data obtained is an important auxiliary for archaeological investigation, as the resulting maps and other images can be used to direct future excavations or to digitally reconstruct the archaeological structures without the need of excavation, and therefore test ideas about the past. The combination of these methodologies is inexpensive and quick to perform in the field and can be systematically applied in the knowledge, safeguard and valorization of other prehistoric archaeological heritage. Thank you.